Hi everyone, Coach Alexa here. I wanted to talk a little bit about running with music. So I've been doing a bit of training recently on the spinning bike in my garage with a view of the wheelie bins. It's not been that inspiring, so to kind of motivate myself a little bit, I've been turning to music to train to, which isn't something that I usually do and something that I don't really do with running. And it kind of inspired me to talk a little bit about it. So I discovered over the last week or two that because I'm quite into my dance music, if I listen to The Prodigy whilst I'm doing a spinning intervals session on my turbo trainer, I could probably go so intense with the training that I might explode. So music, for a lot of us, and myself included, has a real power in how much kind of energy we get out of our workouts. One of the reasons why in gyms, in spinning classes in gyms, or in HIIT classes online or in gyms, you'll get that upbeat and that tempo of the music. In fact, when I was working on some rehab stuff recently with my physio, she sets all of her cardio kind of workouts, structured cardio workouts to do for rehabilitation at exactly 100 beats per minute, because from a sort of cardio build point of view, that's a good place to pitch your cardio workouts when you're starting with them, and to get that rhythm of movement when you're working on rehab for my specific condition. There are kind of pros and cons though, aren't there, of using music as that real motivator. And a running race that I did a while back that had quite a few people kind of wearing headphones. It wasn't a particularly inspiring course, admittedly, for a local 10k on the roads. Lots of people wearing headphones to keep themselves motivated and focused, which is great. But as a non-headphone wearer, I started to notice people were speeding up and slowing down quite a bit. And then when people's headphones were on, music was on loud enough and the traffic noise was quiet enough for me to hear what they were listening to, I realised that they were speeding up with a faster paced, more energetic song, and they were slowing down when the music was a little bit calmer. So we do have to, I guess, watch how we use music and what we use it for. So when we're doing a long run, for example, I wouldn't want to be putting my favourite dance music tracks on, because I could pretty much guarantee that would have me running too fast. For short, sharp intervals, however, maybe that's what we want, but not for the recoveries, because we want to actually make sure we're going slow enough to recover. And it also potentially will have an impact on our cadence. So the cadence is the number of times per minute that our feet are making contact with the floor when we're running. So you can kind of then imagine that if we're listening to quite a high tempo track, we might up our cadence a little bit, or perhaps if the playlist switches to something a little bit more relaxed and chilled out, our cadence might slow. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's something to be aware about, because that is changing the way that we're running and our running movement patterns subtly as well. So I would think a little bit about, the definite pros, but there are also some downsides of listening to music. The final one I would say is it can mess a little bit with our perception of pace. So back to my example about my sort of spinning session listening to The Prodigy. Would I and should I and was I intending to go that intense in my intervals? No, I was not. So it can sometimes encourage us to be doing stuff that perhaps we shouldn't be doing at an intensity that perhaps we shouldn't be working at. And that works both ways, either easier or faster than where we intended. It kind of messes with our natural pace perception a little bit. And I'm a strong believer that our natural pace and effort perception is a really good skill to build as a runner. To have that inherent pacing ability is one of the few skill-based aspects of running as a sport. I hope that's useful.